In this video, we travel to Kentucky to visit a place called Big Bone Lick.
It's loaded with history, connected to Lewis and Clark, and still very much a place of discovery. And they're still discovering bones today.
Our travel route was a dozen miles off I-75 to a location about 20 miles south of Cincinnati, just across the Ohio River in north-central Kentucky.
Big Bone Lick is a state historical site and famous to paleontologists across the world.
Camping, straight ahead.
All right. Camping, yeah. Mini golf, camp store, hiking.
Turn right onto Bison Circle, then turn right.
We stayed in the very comfortable campground, which has 61 sites and electricity and water. Stop.
But our main reason was to explore the big bones found here that give the place its name.
They have a nice display of the mammoths, the sloth, the giant bison. Their bones were preserved in the salt deposits, and they're still discovering bones today.
They have a really nice walking area where you can hike for some distance throughout the entire area here.
And they have signs to remind you that they still have the archaeological digs going on and fossils still remained here. And if you find anything, don't touch it, don't disturb it. It's not yours for the finding. Look, Mike, you can still see the salt leaching through here.
Oh yeah, look at it. That's why they call it Big Bone Lick, right? Because they licked the salt.
You know, what's so interesting is that the plant-eating animals came here to lick the salt, and then the meat-eating animals came here to eat the plant-eating animals, the cycle of life.
Yeah,
they got their salt from these animals.
Most of the bones that they have found here date back to the late Ice Age, but they have found the remains of some animal species that they think go back as far as 20,000 years. It's been used by animals for a long time, and the salt is still very much in evidence.
This is a pretty remote area right now, but the early 1800s, lots of tourists came here. They'd make their way down the Ohio River by boat and then come ashore on land, come here and take baths, thinking that the baths had healing properties. They did that for about 100 years.
One misconception when people think about the Lewis and Clark expedition is that those two explorers were only in the West. Well, right here at Big Bone Lick State Historic Site, there's a very strong connection to both Lewis and Clark. And the story really dates to 1803, when Meriwether Lewis, on his way to meet Clark for their expedition to the north, stopped here at the request of President Thomas Jefferson to send back some of the bones of these large creatures that were found here. Clark did that. They never made their way to Washington. Clark eventually hooked up with Lewis when Lewis left here, and the expedition to the west went on. After it was over in 1807, Thomas Jefferson said, "Hey, where are those bones?" And William Clark then came here. He did a major excavation, sent back more than 300 bones. And it was very significant in the world of paleontology because it was those bones from right here that Clark sent that proved that the mastodon and the mammoth were two distinct species. There's your history lesson from today.
Hey, Mike, what do you think this is all about? Always be aware of hazardous trees. Where to look out for broken limbs, as well as look up, especially during windy conditions. I guess this is why they're saying look up. Don't just always be looking down. Look at that limb dangling there. The wind started to blow. It's something to be concerned about.
And that's not all. I'll show you what you got to watch out for. You see that? That is a walnut. Falls out of that tree. That would hurt. So what happened to all those animals that caused them to go extinct very quickly, as a matter of fact? Well, there are a lot of theories, probably two leading ones here.
And one of those theories is that the native people just overhunted.
Could be. The other one, as we much talk about climate change today, well, 10,000 years ago when these animals disappeared, there was a major climate change. That was at the end of the Ice Age, and there was a very rapid warming. And scientists look at that and say that also was probably a major factor in the extinction of these animals. Whatever it is, they're all gone, but their bones remain here.
I'll tell you right now, Bo would like to make that deer over there extinct.
We're watching
If
it.
you saw me take a jolt,
You can't
that's
see it,
because
but
we got a
right
deer
there,
running around back
right there is the deer.
Bo is keenly aware that there's a deer.
Yeah. You see that deer, Bo?
That's
Well,
why
anyway,
you're on a leash, boy.
the big boned animals, they're all gone, but there's still some nimble-footed white-tailed deer out there.
Here's a third theory as to why those bison are gone. Mike, look at this one. Native Americans explain how the Great Spirit had destroyed and threatened the giant bison in order to protect humans. The account describes how the Great Spirit descended from the sky, sat on the hill behind the sign, and threw lightning bolts into the lick to kill the beasts. What do you think?
Okay, but that brings up another myth that people think relate just to the West when they think about bison. The fact of the matter is that bison were very prevalent all the way east of the Mississippi as far as Ohio and Kentucky and Pennsylvania, well into the 18th century, into the mid-1700s. Of course, overhunting is what we know ruined them here and got rid of them here, and also decimated the herds out west. But bison were very much a part of the landscape, of the natural landscape east of the Mississippi as well.
Okay, Mike, do you know the difference between a bison and a buffalo?
I do, because I just read the sign, but but maybe somebody watching this doesn't know.
Buffalo live in Asia and Africa. Bison live in North America.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I always wondered about that. I kept saying bison, buffalo, which are they? Now I know.
We want to be politically correct for our bison friends. They're bison, not buffalo.
The big herds of bison are long gone, but here at the park they have a small herd so that you can see the calves and the bulls and get a feel for what it must have been like.
There's a real short little area that you have to walk to get there, maybe a quarter mile is all. It's not a hard hike at all, a gravel trail. So before you leave, go look at the bison. These guys will walk right up to the fence. They're very curious. You just need to be very calm and not make any fast motions and not go any closer. There's actually a double fence here, see? So stay on this side of the rope. Don't make any sudden movements. These guys are very curious. I've been just taking these pictures of them, and they kind of have been following me around. As long as you're quiet and smooth. This guy's been following me like a dog. Yeah. See why this is such a great place to visit? See those bison, Bo? Those are bison. They are big boys, aren't they?
Big Bone Lick is a perfect weekend trip, so put it on your bucket list. Delightful place to bring your kids or your grandkids and just relax, explore, take hikes, look at the bison, talk about life, things, change, nature.
So much to learn and see here. Speaking of which, learning and seeing things about the RV lifestyle, we are we'll soon be starting our 11th year of doing these videos, and you can find them all on our RV Lifestyle YouTube channel here. We hope you have subscribed. If you haven't, please do so. But follow the one that we suggest for you right up here in the corner and see what you think of that one. We're Mike and Jennifer Wendland. Thanks for watching. Be sure and put Big Bone Lick State Historical Site in Kentucky on your bucket list.
Happy trails.